What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Crew 2, and in this video I'm going to be going over the best races to grind in the touring car class, which I would say is probably one of the more important classes to level compared to some of the others. It seems like a lot of these events in the summits now have to do with the touring class, so having a good set, which is basically the Nitro Chemist set, is probably going to be one of the best things to have now. So if you might have been wondering, by the way, you can basically use any of the vehicles in this entire class to level them up. For me, I'm going to be running the Renault RS01, which is obviously like one of the best cars in the entire class to run. You could also run something like the Nismo, which is really good as well. This car just recently came out. You can also run the Lamborghini Gallardo, which is also considered one of the best vehicles in this class as well, and one of my personal favorites, the Koenigsegg CCGT. Now, if you wanted to use any of these, you'll probably get the races done a lot easier, honestly, because, well, some of the other cars might struggle a bit not being leveled up. Now, one thing I also want to point out, guys, I will also be using the Loot Digger set as well, because I do not feel right running the Nitro Chemist set, because I would say many players are probably grinding out these races trying to get the Nitro Chemist set for the events and or the summits. So I'm going to be running the Loot Digger, which is honestly a really good set to have as well, because it will help you get a lot of the other sets completed much faster. You will basically be getting double the parts from that said race, so instead of getting about 5 to 6 parts without this, you'll end up getting like 10 to 12, which is honestly a lot more. It'll give you a higher chance of getting more gold parts and or getting the one you might be missing to complete that said set. But nonetheless, guys, let's go jump into my favorite race to grind in this class right now. So when it comes to the best race to grind in the touring car class, this could be a bit of a challenge to find your favorite event to do. Now for me, I believe the one over here at the Jersey Racing Track near New York, located all the way over here, I would say this is going to be the best race to do for multiple reasons. So for one, this one's also going to be very short at around 2 minutes and 30 seconds, even with like a regular set on your vehicle. As long as you guys have gold parts, even purple, you could still probably get this done around 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and running something like the Renault will also make this a lot easier. Now, you could probably do some of the other races as well, like the one that's located pretty close by over here near Brooklyn. Now, this one's going to be a pretty long event, though, over 5 minutes, so you'll probably get more parts from this. But do keep in mind it's going to take a lot longer. By the time you complete this, you'll probably get like 10 or so parts without running the Loot Digger set. Then if you guys did complete the one in Jersey without a Loot Digger set, you'll probably get around the same amount of parts, because you could do 2 of these races by the time you complete one of those. Now, I did test out some of the events there in Miami as well, which normally those races are like 30 to 40 seconds longer. I noticed on some I was getting the exact same amount of parts from them, and then sometimes I'd get maybe one more, which I don't think is going to make that much of a big deal. I would recommend doing this race though, because it's going to be the shortest one. And one of the biggest things I saw about this is the fact that the AI, luckily, are not annoying at all in this one. Like, we can all agree, some of the races, which can get really frustrating because you guys are trying to level up these cars and get them maxed out as fast as possible. And when we have an NPC that you can't even pass, can be really annoying. For example, when I was trying out some other powerboat races when trying to go after the easiest ones to grind for that class as well, I decided to try the harbor one over here in the corner of the map, and my goodness, even with a Nitro Chemist on the 1414 Demon, I had issues catching one of the NPCs every single time. So this is one of the biggest reasons why finding the best event in each class is going to be super important, because we all know trying to get these vehicles leveled up can be a bit of a challenge and or take some time to do. So finding a good event to get this done is definitely going to be your best bet. Anyway, let's jump into this race right now, and I'll talk about this a little bit more. Now, from the testing I have done on the other events here in the touring class, I would say by a long shot the one here in the Jersey racetrack is probably going to be your best bet for leveling up these vehicles as quickly as possible. Now, I also did mention before that you could probably run any vehicle of your choice in this class and probably not have any issues, and to be honest, I would still go by that, because I really do not think this race is difficult in any way, even on Ace. I noticed on some of the other events the AI are just insanely annoying to deal with, and I honestly can't stand them. There's actually one event, I believe it's on the Golden Hills racetrack, that even with a maxed out vehicle, one of the AI pretty much destroys some of the other touring vehicles, which is really annoying to see. And well, if you're trying to max out your vehicle, you will most likely not have a set on your car, or you're trying to get better parts for that matter. And well, battling one really fast AI like you normally would on the powerboat races is probably not going to be a fun time and or a good experience when trying to get the parts you are looking for. Now, I would say, guys, definitely use the Renault for grinding if you really want to. This car is honestly really good, and you don't have to use this car on summits if you don't want to, because I know it's like the meta vehicle. But leveling up cars, this thing's probably going to be one of the easiest things to do there. Now, one of the biggest things I have noticed when grinding out this race as well is I wanted to test this out by putting a Loot Digger set on my vehicle, and then doing a bunch of the races in this class as well to see how that might work and how many parts you might get. So from the 3-minute races or so, which a lot of the other ones are, I was getting about 10 to 12 parts, which is interesting because I was getting the exact same amount on this race right here. So I was wondering, well, does it really matter on the length of these races by 30 to 40 seconds? And to be honest, from what I could see, there really isn't much of an advantage of doing the longer events because, well, you're going to get the exact same amount of parts that you normally would from these shorter races, so why do the longer ones? Plus, you're also going to have that insanely annoying AI that you're going to have to mess with when trying to level your vehicles up. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below, and hopefully you get these cars leveled up really fast.